Good evening. The signal has crossed mountains. It has spilled across oceans. It has entered the wires and lights of the city. Now it seeks something deeper. Not machines, not streets, but us. There is one place where walls fall away, where truth and memory stand side by side. Our dreams. Tonight, we follow one man into that quiet territory. Here the signal does not wait for radios or screens. It hums inside the mind itself. This is episode 5 of The Signal, The Dreamer's Frequency. His name was Marcus Hale. He was 38 years old. He taught children in a small school in Denver. He lived alone above a laundromat. The hallway smelled like soap and warm air. At night, he played records on an old player with a cracked lid. Marcus was not a scientist. He did not study the sky. He rarely touched a radio. But for months, he carried a strange burden. Dreams that were too sharp to ignore. Each dream began the same way. 3 tones, soft and clear, ringing through a white horizon. Then a voice. Sometimes his mother, sometimes a stranger, always whispering his name. He woke with his heart racing. He could feel the rhythm in his chest. 1, 2, 3. Silence. 1, 2, 3. Silence. At first he blamed stress. Too much work, too little sleep. But then came the night when he opened his eyes and the dream did not end. It was a Thursday. Rain slid down the window. Marcus had fallen asleep on the couch with a book on his chest. He woke to the sound he knew too well. 3 tones. They did not come from the air. They sounded from the space behind his eyes. He sat up. He held his breath. The tones remained. The kitchen clock began to tick in time with them. The light above the sink flickered in time with them. The dream had followed him into waking life. He pressed both palms over his ears. The sound grew clearer. His radio clicked on by itself. White noise filled the room. Under the noise came the whisper he feared and needed. It said his name, Marcus. He stepped back until his shoulders touched the wall. He spoke into the empty room. Who are you? There was no answer. Only the 3 tones. Only the steady rhythm. For days he slept in short bursts. Every time his eyes closed, the signal returned. The tones drilled into the quiet. The whisper shaped itself into questions. Where are you? What do you see? What do you remember? He began to write them down. Page after page, he filled a notebook with fragments, then another. Soon his waking life felt more like the dream than the day did. One morning he stood at the board with a piece of chalk. He planned to write a math problem. Instead, he drew 3 rising lines and a pause. The children watched in silence. The chalk snapped in his hand. The questions did not stop. They did not threaten him. They did not explain themselves. They asked and asked until he felt hollow and bright at the same time. He was a bell, They were the hand that rang him. At night the whisper showed him places he had never seen. A mountain range under a sky filled with cold stars. A desert where the sand pulsed with a faint inner light. A forest where tall trees leaned as if listening, though no wind moved. In every place the same rhythm lived. 3 tones, silence. 3 tones, silence. Marcus understood something he did not want to understand. The signal was not only moving through wires and screens, it was moving through people, through their sleep, through their memories, through the soft rooms of the mind where no wall could hold it back. Then came the final dream. He stood in a wide gray field that stretched forever. The ground looked like static on an old television. Shadows stood across that field, hundreds of them. They did not walk. They only tilted their heads as if listening. The tones rang again. Every shadow turned toward him. Not with faces, with attention, only listening. A single voice rose above the others. It did not shout, it did not echo. It simply reached him. It said 4 plain words. You are awake. Now stay with us.
He woke with a cry and reached for the lamp. Light filled the room, but the sound did not leave. His record player was spinning with no record on it. The clock on the wall ticked in rhythm with the tones. The refrigerator hummed in rhythm with the tones. The night breathed in rhythm with the tones. On the window, a thin film of fog had formed. 3 straight lines were drawn across it. He had not drawn them. The lines were already fading. Marcus sat at the table with both hands on the wood. He slowed his breathing. He waited for silence. It did not return. The signal had crossed the border between sleeping and waking. It was not asking permission. He went to work. He spoke to his students. He smiled when they made jokes, but behind his eyes the rhythm kept going. Sometimes he felt the tones in his teeth, sometimes in his ribs, sometimes in the air beside his ear like the breath of someone standing close. He locked his notebooks in a drawer. He told no one. How could he explain a sound that followed him from a dream into daylight? How could he prove a voice that knew his name and asked for his memories? At night, he tried to stay awake. He made tea. He walked from room to room. He counted his steps. But sleep took him anyway, as it always does. He stepped again into the gray field. The shadows waited. He could not see their faces. He felt no anger from them, no heat, no cold, only attention, only listening. He asked the voice one question. What do you want? The answer was not a sentence. It was a feeling. It was a shape. It was the sense of a hand held out to him, palm open, patient. The tones rang once more, 3 gentle notes. He woke with tears on his face, though he did not feel sad. He felt emptied and full at the same time. He felt like a door held half open between 2 rooms. Days passed, the rhythm softened. It did not leave. It settled into him the way a song settles into memory. It was there when he poured coffee. It was there when he closed his classroom door. It was there when he switched off the light and lay down. Neighbors began to mention small things, a radio that turned on by itself at 12:30 each night, a ceiling fan that clicked 3 times and then spun, a street light that flashed 3 times and then rested. Most people laughed and blamed the wiring. A few stood very still and counted under their breath. Marcus looked at his notebooks and thought about burning them. He did not do it. He placed them in a shoebox and slid the box under his bed. He lay down. He watched the window. He waited for the tones. They came like rain on a far roof, soft, even, unstoppable. He closed his eyes and did not resist. He let the rhythm carry him. He understood that the signal had found a path that did not need a tower or a cable. It had found a path every human carries from birth, a path of sleep, a path of memory, that opens each night and closes each morning. The signal had entered the private theater of human dreams. It had stepped over the last wall. Marcus did not know where it would go next. He did not know if it would ask more from him. He only knew that it was still listening. He also knew that he was listening too. When you close your eyes tonight, listen for it. Do not strain. Do not chase it. Let the quiet come to you. If you hear 3 tones, do not be afraid. If you hear a whisper that knows your name, do not speak too quickly. Let it finish. Let it breathe. 3 tones, a whisper, your name. This was episode 5 of The Signal, The Dreamer's Frequency. Sleep well.